No more sailing, no more sailing. I love them blue.
Welcome, music lovers. Today, we step into the captivating world of Bobby Darin, a charismatic singer, songwriter, and actor whose life was as vibrant as his music. From his early rise to fame to the shadows that haunted him, explore the highs and lows of a true entertainer who left an indelible mark on the music industry. So, let's dive in. Bobby Darin was born Walden Robert Casoto on May 14th, 1936, in the East Harlem neighborhood of New York City, United States of America. Bobby Darin's family history is marked by secrecy and hardship. Born to a poor, working-class Italian-American family in the Bronx, New York, Darin's maternal grandfather, Saverio Antonio Casoto, was of Italian descent, while his maternal grandmother, Vivian Fern Walden, referred to as Polly, had English, Danish, and Norwegian roots, and was a vaudeville singer. Darin's mother, Vanina Juliet Nina Casoto, gave birth to him at the young age of 17, and with her mother, decided to present Bobby as her younger brother. Raised in humble circumstances, Darin's childhood was marked by financial struggles, with his mother relying on public assistance to care for him. It wasn't until adulthood that Darin discovered the truth. Nina, whom he believed to be his sister, was his biological mother, and the woman he thought was his mother was, in fact, his grandmother. The identity of his father remained a mystery for the entirety of Darin's life, as his mother chose to never disclose it, leaving Darin never knowing his paternal lineage. Despite facing early health challenges and frail as an infant, perhaps from growing up in poverty, Bobby Darin's childhood was steeped in music and determination. Afflicted by multiple bouts of rheumatic fever, and at just 8 years old, Darin developed a seriously diseased heart. He was also living under the shadow of a potentially shortened life, after overhearing the doctor tell his mother he would be lucky to reach adulthood. Raised in a household resonating with the sounds of big bands and the voices of legends like Al Jolson, Frank Sinatra, and Ella Fitzgerald, music became an integral part of his upbringing. Motivated by his circumstances and fueled by his natural musical talent, Darin taught himself to play several instruments, including the piano, drums, and guitar, later mastering the harmonica and xylophone. Bobby Darin's academic journey took him to the esteemed Bronx High School of Science, where his exceptional intellect shone through with a genius-level IQ. Following his graduation, he earned a scholarship to Hunter College, but left after just 2 semesters to pursue his passion for theater and music. Immersing himself in New York City's vibrant music scene, Darin began writing songs, singing demos, and frequenting the renowned Brill Building, a hub of creativity and musical talent. Balancing his aspirations with practicality, he performed in small nightclubs across the city, taking on roles as both a busboy and an entertainer. As was common with ethnic minorities at the time, Darin changed his Italian name to one that sounded more American. He reportedly chose the name Bobby because he had been called Bobby as a child. He picked the last name, Darin, because he had seen a malfunctioning sign at a Chinese restaurant reading Darin Duck rather than the intended Mandarin Duck, and thought that Darin looked good. Later, this story was modified, as he said on one occasion that the name was randomly picked out of the telephone book, but neither story has since been verified. Darin's journey in the music industry gained momentum through a songwriting collaboration with Don Kirshner, initiated in 1955 after a chance encounter at a Washington Heights candy store. Together, they delved into composing jingles and tunes, beginning with bubblegum pop, securing a contract with Decca Records in 1956. Darin stepped into a landscape where rock and roll was still finding its footing, lacking skilled producers and arrangers. Initially confined to recording conventional tunes favored by executives, Darin faced the challenge of standing out in a burgeoning industry. Despite his efforts, the tracks produced at Decca struggled to gain significant traction in the commercial realm. Part of the vibrant brill-building songwriter community, Darin crossed paths with singer Connie Francis, co-writing multiple songs for her. Their professional collaboration soon evolved into a romantic entanglement, although it faced resistance from Francis's disapproving father. Despite their bond, with Darin proposing immediate elopement at one point, the relationship eventually unraveled. Reflecting on the past, Francis has since commented, not marrying Darin was a significant regret in her life. He left Decca to sign with Atco Records, founded by the legendary Ahmet Ertegun. After a few sessions there again with no success, the executives at Atco were about to drop him from the label. Amit personally intervened and decided to produce some sessions with Darin. The musical gods shined on them as a session on April 10, 1958, produced the song Splish Splash that would go to number 3 on the charts. The song Darin had written with DJ Murray the K, who bet that Darin could not write a song that started out with the words Splish Splash, I was taking a bath, as suggested by Murray's mother, which they eventually shared writing credits with. The single, Darin's first successful foray into the rock and roll genre, sold more than 1 million copies. His partnership with Kirshner, who was not involved in the writing of that song, ended at that time. In 1959, Bobby Darin released the enchanting Dream Lover, a soulful ballad of his own creation that soared to number 2 on the charts, marking a turning point in his career. The song's success granted him financial stability and the artistic freedom to assert more control over his music. His album, That's All, showcased his versatility, proving his ability to transcend rock and roll. Darin's rendition of Mac the Knife, adapted from Kurt Weill's Threepenny Opera, initially met resistance by Darin as a single but skyrocketed to number 1 on the charts for 9 weeks, selling 2 million copies. This rendition earned him the Grammy Award for Record of the Year in 1960, along with the Grammy Award for Best New Artist. Mac the Knife remains a timeless classic, honored with induction into the Grammy Hall of Fame. Following the triumph of Mac the Knife, Bobby Darin continued his winning streak with Beyond the Sea, a captivating English rendition of Charles Trenet's La Mer, which quickly became another chart-topping hit. His meteoric rise in the music industry propelled him to become one of the most sought-after nightclub performers of his time. Darin's electrifying performances shattered attendance records at iconic venues like the Copacabana in New York City, where eager fans would queue around the block for tickets. Demand for Darin's shows was so high that the Copa had to add extra seating to accommodate the crowds. Additionally, he made history as the youngest headliner at major Las Vegas casinos, solidifying his status as a legendary entertainer. Darin's impact extended far beyond his own performances. He paved the way for emerging talent, with icons like Richard Pryor, Flip Wilson, and Wayne Newton. Darin challenged racial segregation norms by insisting on having Nipsey Russell as his opening act at the Copacabana. In the 1960s, he founded TM Music, responsible for hit records like Under the Boardwalk and Good Lovin'. Darin mentored Wayne Newton, launching his career with Danky Shern, and influenced Roger McGuinn, who worked under him at TM Music before co-founding The Bird. He produced albums for Rosie Greer and Jimmy Boyd, leaving an enduring legacy in the music industry. In 1962, Bobby Darin ventured into country music, delivering hits like Things, You're the Reason I'm Living, and 18 Yellow Roses. He joined Capitol Records that year, but returned to Atlantic shortly after. Despite leaving Capitol in 1964, he scored his final UK hit with If I Were a Carpenter in 1966. Darin's music also featured in the 1965 Disney film That Darn Cat, with Things, sung by Dean Martin in the 67 TV special Movin' with Nancy, starring Nancy Sinatra. In addition to music, Bobby Darin pursued acting, starring in films and TV shows. In 1959, he appeared in an episode of Hennessy, and later became the only actor signed to 5 major Hollywood studios. He starred in the movie Come September 1961, alongside Sandra Dee, whom he married that year. Their son, Dodd Mitchell Darin, was born in 1961. Despite a Golden Globe win for Most Promising Male Newcomer in 1962 and an Oscar nomination for Captain Newman, MD in 1963, Darin faced setbacks, like losing the lead role in West Side Story to Richard Beamer and missing out on The Hustler opposite Jackie Gleason due to scheduling conflicts with Paul Newman. In the 1960s, Bobby Darin became politically active, supporting Robert F. Kennedy's presidential campaign and being present with him at the Ambassador Hotel the day before Kennedy was assassinated in 1968. This event, coupled with the revelation of his true parentage when considering running for political office himself, led Darin to seclude himself in Big Sur. Returning to Los Angeles in 1969, he founded Direction Records, releasing folk and protest music. Darin's simple song of freedom became a notable hit, and he appeared on TV variety shows. He later starred in his own variety shows on NBC, including Dean Martin Presents, The Bobby Darin Amusement Company, and The Bobby Darin Show, showcasing his enduring appeal. In 1971, Bobby Darin confronted severe health issues, including heart arrhythmias and fatigue endured since the 1960s. He opted for open-heart surgery in February 1971 to install a pacemaker, which proved successful. Subsequently, Darin gradually returned to the show business scene. Personally, Darin married actress Sandra Dee on December 1, 1960, after meeting on the set of Come September, released in 1961. They welcomed their son, Dodd Mitchell Darin, on December 16, 1961. However, Dee's struggles with loneliness, exacerbated by Darin's work commitments, led her to heavy drinking and gambling, also compounded by her pre-existing eating disorder and past trauma, including alleged childhood sexual abuse. Their marriage became strained, marked by public conflicts. Sadly, they divorced on March 7, 1967, due to the toxicity of their relationship. Darin's second wife was Andrea Yeager, a legal secretary whom he met in 1970 and married on June 25, 1973, after 3 years of living together. Unfortunately, just 4 months later, in October 1973, they divorced due to strain exacerbated by Darin's deteriorating health. In 1973, Darin's health deteriorated drastically when his mechanical heart valve clotted. He chose to stop taking his prescribed anticoagulant medication, warfarin, and neglected to take antibiotics before dental work, leading to bacteria entering his bloodstream and further weakening his heart. On December 11th, he underwent open-heart surgery at Cedars of Lebanon Hospital to repair his artificial heart valves. Despite a 6-hour surgical effort on December 19th, Darin passed away in the recovery room early on December 20th without regaining consciousness. He was only 37 years old. Some close to Darin have claimed, not entirely credibly, that his divorce from his second wife, Andrea, was an attempt to shield her from the pain of his impending death. Additionally, he did speak to Sandra Dee shortly before his death, mainly to talk to his son, Dodd. Contrary to the 2004 film, Beyond the Sea, Dee was not present at his death, nor did she visit him during his final hospital stay, as per Darin's request. Darin's last wish in his will was that his body be donated to science for medical research, and his remains were transferred to the UCLA Medical Center shortly after his death. And there you have it. As we reflect on the life and legacy of Bobby Darin, we remember not only his chart-topping hits, but his talent, ambition, and enduring spirit that continues to inspire generations worldwide. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more future videos just like this. Take care and bye for now.